is a massive industry. It drives growth. It is an economic linchpin for many countries and economies. In Nigeria, there are all sorts of players in this sector, but then there is somebody and a brand at the top of the food chain. We traditionally in Seafood Cafe bring you people and players who are controlling industries, leading narratives, and setting great standards for industries in terms of ideas, in terms of innovation, in terms of making things happen. Today, we have one of those who is making things happen in the Nigerian and of course African hospitality industry. And we're talking about no other than Chike Ogeah, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of MacFolly Hospitality. And I'm sure you know what MacFolly stands for. They are the owners of the massive Mariott Hotel inside Ikeja GRA here in Lagos. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Chike, welcome to the program once more.
Thank you.
MacFolly is big, quietly sitting in the back.
That's right.
Nobody knows exactly what you people are doing, except you come very close. But before we sit down to do the real business of the day, the standard practice for us is to fire you up a bit with just quick fire questions, that's what we call it. And I get started.
Okay.
Family or career, make your choice.
That's a difficult one because you need both to survive. They are both interdependent. But I would say family. Family comes first in everything you do. Without family, what can you do? You are nothing without family.
Public or private enterprise?
Well, I've been in both, and I can say in Nigeria, private enterprise is more rewarding and beneficial to everybody.
If you are not in the hospitality business, where else do you think you would be?
Well, I've had a checkered life, funny enough, because I'm a lawyer by training. I'm actually a barrister and a solicitor. But before I even went into hospitality, I was in aviation for a long time. I was the managing director of Sky Power Aviation Handling Company, SACOL, as it then was, which has now been privatized and now belongs to the CFAX group of companies, which is also the owner of MacFolly. So you see, and if you draw the dots, you can now see the connection. So what I'm trying to say is that aviation was a good place. And then, of course, I was also in public sector with the government. I was in the presidency. I worked in the presidency. Yeah.
Books or movies?
Books or movies? Movies, for me, movies.
For a lawyer, books.
I know, very important, but hey, I have to tell you, I learn a lot from movies. So it depends on the kind of movies you watch. Yeah.
Tiger or lamb? What's your management style?
What? I didn't get.
Tiger or lamb?
Okay, management style.
Management style.
I would say Lambo. I'm not tigerish about anything. I'm gentle. I get my point, and I think I get rewards when I handle things gentle and treat people with respect.
Thank you very much, and we are going to get set by getting fired up so that we can continue the conversation. Once again, welcome.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Welcome back. And at this moment, we are going to talk about your partnership with Mariott. How did it start? Especially given the fact that you just told me you were in aviation. How did you incubate such a relationship?
Okay. Well, you have to understand how hospitality and brand, hotel management works. There are some big brands of hotels, which I'm sure you've heard of. You know Marriott, you know Hyatt, you know Hilton. Those are some of the biggest brands. Now, what happens is that in modern day hospitality, most of these brands, Marriott, for instance, is the biggest of them all. They have over 20,000 properties all over the world. An American company, but you find out that they don't own, maybe they own about 10 out of that 20,000 properties they have. And those ones that they own are usually in resorts, places like Seychelles, you know, those kind of far-flung places, yes, where they would go and build. But usually in major cities, major countries across the world, what they do is that they bring their expertise as a major hospitality brand. It comes with so much. And then from when you want to start, like for instance, let me take this hotel we are sitting in now. When we wanted to start the construction of this hotel in 2014, 2015 or thereabout, we had already started negotiations with the Marriott. You have to go through a lot of legal negotiation. I have a chairman, Dr. Taiwo Afolabi, who was leading our team, and we were going for all those meetings, maybe in Dubai, because that's where they had their global headquarters and the office that sees sub-Saharan Africa. And there you will decide, do you want a full management agreement with the Marriott, whereby you want your guests, your patrons, when they come into this Marriott in Lagos, to not see any difference between this Marriott and the Marriott they go to in Germany or in England or in Doha or in Qatar or in Dubai or in Mexico, you know, the best. Marriott has about 32 brands of categories of hotels. We are in the premium space. They have up to the budget space, the select space, and all of that. So you choose the one, no pressure on you. But then they come in with their templates. And right from the conception stage, you have to work with them on their specifications, on how the hotel will be kitted out, on all the specifications on the room sizes, how it will, everything is precision done, such that you will build what they call a mock room even before you start any construction. People don't understand that by the time you want to go into this business, what goes on in the background is even more important than when you start seeing. By the time you start seeing walls going up, then no, the hotel. Yeah, no, the hotel has been built. Yeah, just putting, it's now a plug and play thing, because everything that should be done has been done in the background. And that's why I say to people, we went for a full management contract with the Marriott, and therefore everything we have here is the full complement. It's not a franchise. We have Marriott directors from all over the world handling the different, subsectors of the economy, whether it's food and beverage, whether it's housekeeping, whether it's finance, whether it's human resource. They are from all over the world, and they give us the best standards. And of course, the most important thing is that we have the Marriott reservation system, which is the Bonvoy, that takes care. The hotel operates like, airlines, where you have air miles. Yes. So you have your points, your honor points. That is why we have 251 rooms. Someone might come here and want to pay even 2 million for a room because he just wants to stay here. And we don't have the room. But yet there might be a room that somebody else might stay there for free because he's a Marriott ambassador, a very, very elite customer of ours. Yes, and he has the loyalty program, and he has enough points. He does not even pay. So you see, that's how the thing works. It's a very dynamic and very complicated system, but it produces the goods.
Now, because we want to educate people.
Yes.
If you have, let's say, 5 loyalty, 5 customers,
yes,
on a loyalty program.
Yes.
Here,
yes.
And they're going to stay 1 week, 3 weeks.
That's right.
Free because of the
points. Yes.
Yes. How do you reconcile accounts?
Yes.
Because the loyalty program is global.
Yes.
So how does the Marriott here get value from those?
It's one system. That's the point. That's what I'm telling you. It's one network. Marriott worldwide is one network, and all that is going on. They are crediting this, they are debiting this, they are crediting it, and everything is precision and up to the minute. That's how it works. This technology, we are in a technology age. So it's there upstairs. When you go there, you see everything. You see all those are young hostesses, as they are called. They are the ones doing it. And everything. They've sent the information here. That information has come back. Okay, this person has so and so points. You can stay for 2 nights. They've credited your amount of money because it's not free. Nothing is free.
Yes.
Those points were earned. Yes, from stays. From that loyalty.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Do we have other Marriotts in Nigeria? Because I know that at the time we were reading the news that Marriott was reluctant to come here because of certain reasons.
Well, I can assure you that we were the first person to bring Mariott International to Nigeria. Before us, I know there was an attempt that was made somewhere in Victoria Island, but that wasn't consummated. So until we came into the market. But while we were here, what then happened was that Mariott now did some acquisitions to compete in their other brands of other categories of hotels. And they acquired the Sheraton and the 4 Points. So anywhere you see a Sheraton of 4 Points, no, it belongs to the Marriott. It's now a Marriott brand, yes. And then also the Protea for like the budget kind of hotels.
Oh, Protea is now in the Marriott family.
It's now in the Marriott family as well.
Was a South African brand.
Yes, but Marriott has taken it all over now. Yes, it was. So that just shows you how humongous the Marriott is, and they are competing in every space. Yes, yes.
Okay, when we were the very first question I fired, you talked about your background in aviation.
Yes.
Now you are in hospitality.
Yes.
Hotel.
Yes.
At this premium level.
Yes.
Did you go for any special training, or what prepared you for the assignment you're doing right now?
Okay, the great thing about life is that I think I was lucky. I did the most versatile course you can ever do, and that's law. You see, because even this hospitality we are talking about, the underpinnings of hospitality is the legal basis of the contracts you sign and all of that. Same thing with aviation. Aviation, like they say, it's all about regulations, and that's why they keep saying that there are only 3 things that are important in aviation: safety, 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 right? And to get that, you have all kinds of audits that you have to go through. So again, it comes back to law. That's the point I'm making. And now, I keep saying it, the trinity of life, as it were, if you ask me, is aviation, hospitality, and tourism. And that is worldwide. Because, you see, a country like Nigeria, we are so rich in tourism. We have all these sites: Ikeja, Warm Springs, Obudu Cattle Ranch, Yankari Games Reserve. Because our country is vast. And I can imagine if Nigeria, we didn't have the kind of challenges, some of the kind of challenges we have, like in security, like in infrastructure, and we could connect towns easily, what the kind of revenues we'll be making. We won't even be bothering about oil. Those 3 areas will be the new oil.
You took this thing straight from my
okay.
question.
Yes, they should be. Yes, they should. They should be the new oil for Nigeria, because there are some countries in the world now, especially those United Arab Emirates, those Saudi Arabia, that what they are doing with tourism, hospitality, and aviation, the Emirates. With all the oil you have in your backyard, you can't compete with them. Their level of development is just on another level.
You know why I say you took this? The next thing I was going to ask is related to tourism.
Yes.
Because whether you like it or not, there's no tourism without hospitality.
Yes.
And there's no hospitality without the broader spectrum of tourism driving it.
Yes.
Nigeria, like you said right now, is vast, is big, it has everything going for it. Now, I think last 2 years, tourism accounted for just about 3.6% of our GDP. We're looking at a Kenya down there that recorded 10% plus. We're looking at the South Africa. I don't want to go to the Asians.
Yes,
They are in a
that's it.
different
Well,
world,
yes, I agree.
right?
Let's look at
So,
Africa.
so
Yes,
South Africa is doing quite big.
yes,
Let me not even go to the monetary inflows.
yes.
What do you think is the problem with development of tourism in Nigeria?
If you ask me, I will tell you there are just two major problems that if we can overcome, everything will come in place when it comes to tourism in Nigeria. One is infrastructure. Because for you to get to those tourist sites, wherever you are, you have to develop them. You have to make them look attractive. That's what you're selling. Don't forget. Okay. Then, of course, what the corollary to that is that people that go there must be secure. We have to get our security right. Right? Once we can do that, those two major things. The other little things like, money, like you talked about, inflows, foreign capital development, or FDI, right? It only goes to where there is peace. That's why if you see any war-torn countries that are in strife, nothing like investments don't go there. Like foreign direct investment will not go there. So, and for you to guarantee your foreign investment, there are certain things that must be in place. One is sanctity of contract. People want to know that when they bring their money into Nigeria and they have seen, yes, and they have seen the laws that guarantee how Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, Nigeria Export Promotion, whatever, that you follow strictly those laws when money comes. Not that they bring 10 million today, then tomorrow the country has passed another law or regulation saying, no, because you brought 10 million, you can only take 1 million out. So when you do those kind of things, those stop-start kind of things, and inconsistency of policy, it affects everything, not even just tourism, but tourism particularly. So those are the things we need to get. It has to be something deliberate. We have to be intentional about it. We have to get the right kind of technocrats that would drive tourism in Nigeria. That's the only way, because I haven't seen that happen yet. We have a commission, I think NTDC, Nigerian Tourism Development Board, Commission or whatever. Those kind of places have to be peopled by very, very sophisticated, forward-thinking tourist, specialists. Because tourism now, I remember when we went to university in the early 80s and all that, it's either you do law, like I said to you, you do engineering, you do medicine, maybe later on architecture came into it and all that. That was all. But these days, you need to see the kind of courses our children are doing or have done. Hospitality is a big game changer. Tourism is a big game changer. IT, of course, which is what drives everything now.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the kind of things Nigeria has to start looking at. Once we can get that together, which obviously means getting a democracy to work, we can have good elections, clean elections, not, the kind of things we're doing and all of that. This will help boost. Because you see, what you're trying to do is to attract people and to attract capital to Nigeria. So you can only...
Speaking of capital,
yes.
Interestingly, during my research on tourism, preparing for today, I discovered that even this 3.6%, the sector added to our GDP, was essentially drawn from internal tourism.
That's right.
Not heavily from
people coming from outside.
Coming from outside.
Yes.
What are the challenges of making sure that, like you mentioned earlier, the Kugusis of this world, the Ojidova festivals of this world,
yes,
the
yes,
things,
we
trap a lot more from this revenue wise.
Yes.
So that, because like you explained.
Yes.
If there is security of both human and capital.
Yes.
A lot more people will come in maybe for leisure for a start.
Yes.
Then when they come, capital essentially settles where it's safe
That's
and
right.
secure. Capital follows it. What are those things that our states, when I mean state, I mean both the federal and component
Subnationals.
units,
Yeah.
subnationals, thank you very much.
Yes.
What do you think they should be doing to make sure that there is trust, there is belief, and then there is interest in coming to Nigeria?
Yeah, you see, this again is what I said to you. And I'm happy you've broken it down into the federal government and the subnationals. Because tourism, if my memory serves me right, I think it's on the concurrent list. So it's something that states should be. You remember when the young man, my very good friend, Donald Duke, was governor in Cross River. That was 1999, 2000. One of the audacious projects he embarked on was that Tinapa project. Somehow or the other, I don't know where that project went wrong, but that project was capable of turning. If that project had worked out the way it was envisaged, Cross River would be maybe competing with Lagos now, or even be ahead of Lagos. But somewhere down the line, which is part of the issues we have here, a lot of big ideas sometimes, but execution and follow through is always an issue. But just the same thing as I said earlier on to you, you need people who are knowledgeable at both levels, the subnational and the state. They have to have a master plan. There's a young man, I can tell you, who I've worked with over the time. And like I told you, he traverses these three spaces of aviation, hospitality, and tourism. He has a big platform of different things he does with those three places. He's a young man called Mr. Ikechi Uko. I don't know whether you've ever heard about him. He's the one that has, for hospitality, his platform is called Aquaba. Aquaba is welcome in Ghana. He also has another platform called Wezo. That one he uses also for tourism and for hospitality as well. What he does, he is the one, he has documented all the tourist sites in Nigeria. He has everything. He has a good template of how we can make these things work. Ikechi, because he came into my space, like I said, especially when I was in aviation, that's when our paths crossed. But I know we are 200 and whatever million people. There are another million Ikechis in Nigeria. We just have to unearth them. It's all about passion, and it's all about that hunger and thirst for knowledge, for your passion. You see, you have to feed your passion. Once your passion is well fed, you will do incredible things. That's what I realized. Like I said, because these are relatively new areas, in terms of studying the university and all of that. So you find out people in their 40s, 50s, 60s don't really, it's a passion for them. It's not that they studied it. The guys in their 30s, the ladies in their 30s and 20s, yeah, those ones come, and I'm sure those are the ones we're hoping will change Nigeria anyway in all facets, not just in these areas we're talking about. So that's what I think the government should do. Look for these diamonds. They're all over Nigeria. Constitute a little think tank for them and let them run. Every state, you yourself, as a governor, you look for those that can do all of that under your commissioner for tourism. And you get them 10, 12, 20 people. Let them give you a blueprint. And we can start seeing that difference. Of course, at the same time, like I said earlier on, government has to ramp up its activities with security and with infrastructure, because you have to get to those places. Nigeria is such a vast country. You see, when you are traveling between here and Asaba, where I come from, you need to see all the vast lands and different kind of things. When you drive, you should enjoy it. But how many of us can do that now? Because, of state of security, kidnappings and all of that. Yeah. So once we can stem all these things, provide good roads so that, People can drive, like I said, you get to a town, you can stop, see what the local cuisine is there, because those are the things. It's just like what's happening in Nigeria now. You add tourism, to this tourism, aviation, hospitality we are talking about entertainment, we are talking about cuisine, Nigerian food, all this jollof rice. They talk about jollof rice wars between Nigeria and Ghana, who has the better jollof rice. And then you see all these are young artists, whether it's the ladies like Thames and Ira Star, or it's the young men like Wizkid and Davido, Burna Boy. These guys are making billions of naira. They are bringing a lot of money into this country. Get them to be different ambassadors for different tourist sites. Work with them. This is the way we can get them to do concerts in those places. This is how we can open this country. There's just so much opportunities. And what they say generally is that underdevelopment, when a place is underdeveloped, or better still, because I don't like to use the word underdevelopment. If I've stopped using it, no more in my lexicon, I say developing. When a place is developed, yes, it just means opportunities. So every developmental obstacle or hurdle you face is an opportunity, not just to correct it, but even to make money.
And enhance economic.
That solution, yes.
Employment generation.
That's right. So those are the kind of things you expect. And we expected that democracy as a form of government was going to deliver all of this. How far we've gone in that since 1999, because we can't come and just start looking at anything in 2 years. No. Tinubu has been there for 2 years. Buhari has been there for 8 years. Jonathan did 6 years. Obasanjo did 8 years. I think in between then, Yar'Adua did 2 years. Unfortunately, he was ill. He couldn't, and all of that. Cumulatively, how far have we gone? I dare not say not too far.
We're going to come back to that. But then, let's explore whether it's franchising or partnership in hospitality management.
Yes.
What are the obvious advantages that you enjoy for being a Mariott, for instance?
Yes.
And what are the advantages of replicating those well-known global brands and introduce them into markets?
Well, the truth is this. Depending on the level you are coming into the market, that's very important. You see, we came in practically at the highest level.
Very high.
Yeah, and it was a risk because nobody had done it before. When you're a pioneer in something, it goes with a lot of risk. But the truth is this, we decided that we're going to go the whole hog, the whole 9 yards. We went for a full management contract with the Mariott. And of course, the advantages of that are limitless. Mariott could say to you, okay, you want to be a franchise, you can put up my sign, Mariott. You go and hire your own staff, you go and do your own training, you go and do whatever you like. Now, in that kind of setting, there could be an accident somewhere and all that, either with your staff or with your guest. That would be, you have to deal with it and all of that. But when you go for a full management contract, the type we have, it's now like a marriage, like husband and wife. You are in it together. You have provided infrastructure for a lovely property. You've decided what kind of property and what kind of brand you want. Now, everything about the training, about staffing, about the operations, everything about the hotel will be under the Mariott manual, and it will be operated under Mariott trained professional staff, which will be headed by directors of all the major segments of the hotel. Like in this hotel, we have food and beverage, we have human resource, we have finance, we have housekeeping, we have operations, So all these thematic areas will have a director. at the top, they're usually non-Nigerians. Sometimes they could be Nigerians. It does, and it cascades downwards to all the staff who will be professionally trained. Marriott has their own manual that they use for their training. Every morning, they go into different rooms. They're having trainings on all these IT television stations that people are talking from America, from everywhere. So everything is all harnessed and works harmoniously. So you get all that as benefits. You, as the property owner like us, we just go to sleep. We have a little laptop in our office where we just monitor the figures of how the money is coming and all of that. At the end of the day, they put the monies, for us and take whatever their commission is. And the next month goes into the next month and just keeps running. Obviously, they have their loyalty program, which will be fully for you. In case of a franchise, that won't be there. In the case of the Marriott, it's called the Bonvoy. So any Marriott customer that comes into Lagos, for instance, is duty bound to stay in this hotel. So to that extent, yes, we do our own marketing, because every locality has its own nuances.
Local best practice.
Yeah, so we have to go to the big companies, we have a new Marriott, go to Coca-Cola, go to MBL, but it doesn't matter. Because already Marriott is with them from their home countries anyway. So they're all already there. So when you have a full management contract like this, you open your doors today, you yourself as a property owner will be surprised that in 1 week, all your rooms, you've started seeing people coming for different corporate rates because these are major corporations who are coming, negotiating their corporate rates, and the hotel is already started working.
What is the difference in terms of what is left for you, the owner of the piece of real estate?
Yes.
And assuming you have a management concern,
Yes.
the difference between these arrangements and other arrangements in terms of inflow. Yes, it's easier, you sit back, watch on your computer.
Yes.
But how does it impact the bottom line that comes to you?
That's what I want to say. And that is where people often get it wrong. You see, there is a management fee, obviously, that the Marriott will charge, which will be a percentage of, your gross earnings or whatever. Now, the point is this. You might look at it and think, oh, it's better for me. Let me just do it myself. So all the money is come. I'm not paying anybody any money and all. But you do it that way, you're earning. Let's just talk hypothetically. You are earning 20,000 naira, and all the 20,000 naira goes into your pocket because you've done as you can do, as we say in Nigeria, right? You've done
the best you can.
That's right. Now Marriott comes in with its awesome structures worldwide. Instead of 20,000, you are making, again, like I said, we're just for argumenting, you are making 5 million. The same property, the same facilities, you understand? You have made 20,000 somewhere and you're happy. I'm going with my 20,000. Maybe your what you had to pay your staff and all that is 5,000. So you've gone with 15,000. Now, like I said, Marriott comes in and instead of that 20,000, you are making 5 million. Marriott says, okay, from this 5 million, I'll take 300,000 or 400,000. At the end of the day, you pay your staff maybe another million. I'm just talking figuratively.
Yeah, I understand what it is.
Then you go away with 3.5 million or something, which is better. Who's done better business?
You.
See? But there are some people who cannot just fathom, why should I, after my sweat, I build this hotel myself. Nobody gave me, anybody else. Yes, not even dictate because they can't even do that. But why should they just come and take free money as they see it? It's a mentality thing, but it's not free money because they are bringing in so much. They are bringing in so much.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Scenario.
Yes.
We want to talk about the African franchises. I think before Mariott took Protein, the two major ones that I know, Protea, Born, and maybe others that are in the fringes.
Yes.
Why are they not growing as fast as the global ones? And why is Africa not even exporting this? I'm saying this because when we were talking about Nigeria and making Nigeria hospitable for hospitality, if I have to put it that way,
Okay.
you mentioned the exploits and impact of our music and movie industry.
Yes.
That we exported from here. And
yes.
They are earning foreign exchange in US.
Yes, right.
Can't we export Nigerian hotel and hospitality brands to other countries to make sure that these monies we're paying to the likes of Mariott, the likes of Sheraton, the likes of Four Point, the likes of Hilton, Hyatt, and all of them, that they trickle back in?
Well, as they say, Rome was not built in a day. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So, what you've just said is a first step. And the truth is that we have enough to develop a Nigerian brand with our own culture, with our own tradition. You make it very, very African-centric or Nigerian-centric or whatever it is you want to. You give the rooms a different kind of, it won't be maybe the normal cosmopolitan kind of rooms we see in a hotel. You make it into like an African setting very ethnic. That's the word I've been trying to look for. Good. It's fine. It's fine. But you have to compete in the global space. You have to be able to develop it and then sell it. And I think that's where we fall short, because we don't have generally, in Africa, that kind of capital because that kind of brand is there, is waiting. It's waiting to be harnessed and developed. But you need a lot of money. You need a lot of, because money has to push it in so many dimensions to be able to get it to that level where you can bring it to the global space and say you are going to build something like that in London or in Lisbon, or make it different. And then maybe when Africans and even in fact, that kind of thing will even appeal more to non-Africans in those places, because they want to see and get the taste of that kind of hospitality. Yeah, so you have an African kitchen there, you call it African pot or something, and then you cook oha, you cook pepper soup, just do African cuisine, and you'll be so surprised how a lot of foreigners, love that kind of thing, even when they come here. Because we have, one of our restaurants, which is called Koriko and Co. That's like the all-day dining, and a lot of it in that place, it's African food. And you see a lot of these foreigners. They will try the pepper soup, they will try the eforiro, they will try, and they like it. And this is the first place they tried it. I mean, they don't have such cuisine in a Mariott in London or in the so it's in that line of what you're saying, because what we tend to do now is that even while using their brands, we add our own Africanism to it as we can, you understand? But that to have a full brand, Nigerian brand, is what you are talking about. That's why Born, for instance, Born is a Nigerian brand, but how far can it go? Protea, like you said, had its origins in South Africa, but it's been bought over by the Mariott now. And I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. It was a capital to be able to take it and turn it into a global conglomerate. That must have been the issue. So these are steps that, Africa still has to go through. If you go to tourism in Kenya, in Uganda, those ones, they concentrate more on wildlife tourism, so to speak, because they have been blessed with, safaris, parks, and all of that, and they encompass that. And that's doing very well for them. East Africans generally, Tanzania and all of those people. Because, you asked a question the other time. You said to me, how did I go back to study about this thing, or what prepared? No, what we just do in this industry is that there are all kinds of global summits where you go to and you meet operators of the highest level from everywhere in the world. There's the one I went to sometime in, I think, early December last year. It was in Dubai. It was a massive summit. It was at the JW Mariott in Dubai. Massive. And different people from different cultures, from different parts of the world. You know, I also gave a paper that they talked about our own experience from Lagos, from Nigeria. I had experiences from all over Africa, from all over Latin America, from Europe, from UAE themselves, you know, and all of that. And that is how you just realize and you see the trend of how the thing is going. And that is why the question you asked is very, very, you know, very, very succinct, because a lot of other African countries are looking at developing home brands that they can export outside their home. But like I said, when it was identified that capital was the greatest, impediment to that growth.
Yeah. Capital is a big issue in developing indigenous brands. At this point, we will take a very short break and we'll be back to listen more and learn more and espouse more from Chike Ogeah, Managing Director, Chief Executive, MacFolly Hospitality, owners of the Ikeja Mariott. Thank you very much. It's important we discuss, because you broached it during some of the questions you answered, but it's important for us to discuss the relationship between a nation brand and its hospitality industry, as it were. Can you help us to relate on that?
Yeah, you know, I like what you said, a nation brand. So usually nations are known for one thing or the other. And I know you are the interviewer here, but I want to take up your position for a minute. If I asked you, what is Nigeria's brand?
Before I'm in a position to respond to
okay. So you see, what I'm trying to say basically is that nation has to identify what its brand is. And if you ask me, Nigeria already has a brand. We are a blessed country. We have all these things we talked about. That is our brand. The kind of people we are, the kind of food we eat, the kind of culture we have, the kind of traditions we have. These are the things that we should use to develop. Look, for instance, to come to aviation, there is Air Peace, because we don't have a national carrier now. We have a flag carrier.
It's unfortunate.
Yes, fine, but we can still use that flag carrier, which is Air Peace today, to sell Nigeria. We can still use it to get the desired result of Nigeria Airways, the defunct Nigerian Airways. So basically, what I'm just trying to say in reply to what you're saying is that by the time a country identifies its purpose and identifies its ethos as a country, then whatever hospitality brands he wants to use will just mirror those whatever the brand of the country is. That is all you need.
Is the brand Nigeria as it is now affecting tourism, both especially inbound, internal, and even inflow from abroad?
Remember when Dora Akunyili was the Minister of Information, I think, many years ago, the late Dora Akunyili? She tried to do a lot, if you remember then, to market Nigeria as a country, to show the positive sides of Nigeria. Because you see, I think it was at that time, and it still is now, where whether you like it or not, maybe because of the kind of vile politics we play in Nigeria, where this winners take all makes it a battleground. So what comes out of Nigeria is always Nigerians bad-mouthing Nigeria. So that's the number one problem. So before we can even start talking about a brand nation, whether we're in the PDP, whether we're in the SDP, whether we're in the APC, we should all be speaking with the same language of trying to talk positive about Nigeria. So we have to get over that hump, because we haven't. When we get over that hump, then we can now identify what really it is we want to sell. Because that is why everything we are doing now are all just working independent of each other. They're all like in silos. The young men doing their music, they don't care about what you are talking in Abuja politics. They're just doing their own. But they can't galvanize it, to get a critical mass to unleash on the country. Because what happens is that Davido will do his own concert, close down O2 in London, his bank account, the boy will buy a new private jet, buy a new Lamborghini, and so what? So we have to have a way where we have to harness these things and then use them as our brand ambassadors, because they are the ones God has given to us. Whether it's in the movies, like you said, all these Richard Mufem Damijo, from the older ones to the younger ones, use all of these people as brand ambassadors. Rebrand Nigeria, like you said. Find out what it is that is the best selling point. And we have many. We are a hospitable people. We are, I think there's one time they even defined us as the happiest people, and all of that. So put all these things to positive use. And that is tourism. That is hospitality.
Incidentally, I think there's a lot of talk now about a certain thing, Destination 2030, where government wants, I think the tagline is Nigeria everywhere.
Yes.
Maybe wherever you are, let the spirit and soul and salt
and
Nigeria.
We have a lot of that.
Yeah, be the thing.
We have a great spirit as a country, exactly.
We have ideology.
Yes, and we need to unleash it.
Using the soft power of culture to market this country. Fantastic thing, fantastic proposition, fantastic even pathway to reach the glory. Because like you said now, we have rich culture, we also have this thing. But beyond sloganeering, beyond building fantastic websites, beyond holding talk shops where experts are going to deliver, what are the practical things
that must be done?
That must be done. That must be seen to have been done.
That is why, if you remember, you hit the nail on the head, that beyond these things. Because remember, even in the economic, I said to you I was in government at some point.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was at the National Planning Commission with Chief Philip Asiodu, who was the Chief Economic Advisor to the President at that time. And again, that was where the blueprint of Nigeria was being worked on. And they had Vision 20, at that time in 1999, I think it was Vision 2010.
2010.
Then by the time it was 2010, they made it 2020. Then by the time it was 2020, 2030, we kept seeing the goalposts. And those milestones not achieved. Go and look at all those, they are even in the UN Charter and all of that. Yeah. I remember this lady who is now the Deputy Secretary to the UN, Amina. Yes, she was the one that she was doing a lot of that work. She was in the Ministry of Education at that time. She developed all those things because our offices were working together. But the truth is that all those milestones, they were not really achieved. Be it proximity to water, to you name it, all those things that were all supposed to be in that charter. We are still struggling with it till today. So that is the greatest problem. Now, in those charters, I remember at that time, the actual way of getting those deliverables were there. But like I said, when we have a situation where this government comes in and for reasons of vendetta, etc., they will discard everything the old government has done. They start a new one because they want this one to be their own. And that's why do you think Nigeria is littered with all these abandoned projects all over the place? Because we don't have that continuity in government. So you do up to here, instead of someone to come and continue and, and that's why, whether you like it or not, you must give it to Lagos. Lagos is the only subnational, if you ask me, that I see some form of continuity in.
No, I give it to them.
Yes, and that is why, because they have consciously, if you've noticed, decided that their chief executives in Lagos are going to be like chief executives of private companies. They don't care about politicians like they do everywhere else, where people that don't even understand what.
Government like
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
And I think
So,
that's
so
the
they,
difference
they,
Lagos is
they
making.
get good technocrats, good competent technocrats. Look at it, from Ashiwaju himself to Fashola. Think about it, to Ambode, to Sanwo-Olu now. These are all technocrats who understands business. And that is why there has been this difference. So some other people take care of the politics, because politics is very important. That's the truth. But you see, in Nigeria, we have let politics to weigh us down. And that is why it has been a bit of a challenge for us to make the kind of strides we should make in this kind of issues.
Challenge
Yeah,
that
yeah,
has,
yeah, yeah.
kept Nigeria
Yes, we are talking about.
lagging behind 131 out of 190 countries in ease of doing business, 101 out of 117 countries in terms of brand positioning globally. Those are not impressive statistics.
You know, they are not, because Nigeria should be the giant of Africa. We should have run away with these things if there was consistency and continuity in governance in Nigeria. That, I think, is one of the greatest, challenges we faced as a country. And it has obviously, like you rightly said, made us lag behind in all these developmental indices. Look, like I said, I was with Chief Asiodu at that time, and we had the statistics. I remember going through them then, and we're in the same developmental index as countries like South Korea, Indonesia,
Yes.
Malaysia, even Dubai was below us.
Yes.
The King of England, at that time, of course, it was Queen Elizabeth, who was there for so long, used to come for her medicals in UCH in Ibadan. We had one or two monuments that were globally rated. The first 5 universities in this country were world-class universities that were rated, Ife, Zaria, Lagos. There were 5 of them in Nsukka and Zaria, Lagos, Ife. Yeah, that's Zaria. And there's one more, Ibadan. These were globally rated universities all over the world. What have we done with it? So you see, you begin to wonder that our earlier development in the 60s, maybe our founding fathers, were even made more impact in trying to take us, all those things. Awolowo in the West built the first television station in Africa,
Yes.
built the first housing estate, Bodija Estate in Africa, built Cocoa House, the first how many story. They are all still there. What has the governors of today done? Because he was just like a governor. Tell me one governor that has done what Awolowo did in 1966 and below, or in 65 or 64.
Wow. Let's come back home. It's not all lamentation, because a business like Cypher's Group is doing quite great.
CFAT is a conglomerate.
Sitting back there like a behemoth.
Yes,
If you don't come, you don't even know how big.
I agree with you.
I was
And not just if you don't come close. I think it's even, like the way every group of companies or every conglomerate, as they call them, have their DNA. Some is loud. You want to make all the noise, let everybody, you run to Forbes, they have to put you there. But in CFAX, we have a chairman who is very understated. He doesn't like noise. He doesn't like too much noise. He just performs under the radar.
How does he reach out to acquire, to grow the way he did without being out there?
Maybe that is the formula, being understated. In Nigeria, they said, not even in Nigeria, it's a worldwide phenomenon. If you go to a garden now and you get your gardener to come and trim a garden, and all the grass is like this, and there's one that the head is sticking out, that's the one they chop off first, remember? So sometimes in a culture, where there's so much dog eat dog and all of that. It might be a better thing. And I think I've learned that from him. It's better. You see, the bedrock of this conglomerate is in the shipping aspect of it. We have a terminal in the ports, and you are into shipping, we're into maritime, which is we're into off dock and on dock, for storage. We're into oil and gas. We're into retail business. We're into finance. We have our own finance. We have our own insurance. So you find out that when you have a conglomerate like that, we don't even need
and self-contained.
God bless you. So the business just goes round and round, and that is how they do it these days. You want to do your insurance, you go to your insurance company. You want to do this, all of them are doing big summits, they say they bring their guests to the Mariott. They do it in a banquet hall here and all of that. So those are the kind. So the money keeps going around and you keep building. Lately, we've just moved into power now, and all of that. And we are still doing new things. We've also just got an oil block, I'm sure you know, the CFAX, So, we just keep growing, but quietly and making sure that it's all value driven. That's the most important thing. It's not even about, noise making and all of that. Just to make sure that you are driving value.
The things you are doing. Probably, maybe we are going to engage some of the other subsidiaries.
That's fine.
CEOs.
That's fine.
But none of the companies in the group, or even CFAX itself, is quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Well, that's another. No, there is. Sakol is quoted on the Nigerian Stock. Sako PLC.
Because you acquired it from.
Yeah, but it was part of the arrangement with government that after 10 years you have to take it to list it in the stock exchange, so that, because don't forget, it was a national asset, like you said, so you must give Nigerians the opportunity to be part of it, to have the ownership and all of that. And we've done that, and it was very successful. The shares are doing very well. Sako PLC, when I was in that company was about totally moribund. It was just a part of Nigeria. It was like saving the toe of a human being when you've totally destroyed the whole body and everything else. And that company was liquidated. Nigeria Ways that had all the kind of, in fact, half or 3/4 of this GRA was owned by Nigeria Ways. They owned everything that as Arik Air in the airport, all those, they had maintenance, they had real estate in Jeddah, in London, in America, everything. Everything was liquidated for 500 million. Because at the time Obasanjo did that liquidation in 2002 or so. Because he was so upset. He said when he left as the president, as the head of state in 1979 or whatever, yes, they had, 20, that many Boeing, this, that, everything. And by the time he came back in 1999, 20 years, there was not even one plane. Same thing with the shipping line. So you see, these are the issues about Nigeria. But like you rightly said, in answering your question, I know that they are working on these other modalities for the other aspects of the groups, and very soon we will become a public and give people the opportunity to be part of what we are doing here. We just want to make sure that everything is well embedded and solid before we go to the stock exchange.
Thank you very much for being our guests on this show today.
It was my great pleasure.
We have learned a lot from you, and I know that millions of our viewers worldwide will have a whole lot to take home from this immensely rewarding session.
Thank you.
It's been a great time on Seafood Cafe with Chike Ogeah, Managing Director and Chief Executive, MacFolly Hospitality, owners, and I keep emphasizing, owners of the Ikeja Mariott Hotel. Next time, we are going to bring you somebody as great who will share issues that are still, that are equally impactful. See you some other time. So, thank you once again for being our guest on the show.
Thank you. My
Standard
pleasure.
practice, we have this for our guests. It's a token of our appreciation for
Thank you.
sparing time to be with us.
Nice. Thank
This is
you.
yours.
Thank you. Nice. Thank you very much. Well, thank you. It's been a great time talking to you, Mr. Ikemoko. Funny enough, I was the interviewee, but I learned so much from you as well as the interviewer. And I think it was a good exchange of ideas between both of us. I want to thank you for coming. I thought it was very impactful, just like you said. And I want to tell all our Mariott guests, please, I hope you enjoyed the show. And we want to implore you that there's many more of this where it came from. And like someone said to me, a little bird actually says, you should come and enjoy the Mariott hospitality as well. Thank you very much. My name is Chike Ogeah, MD CEO, MacFolly Hospitality Limited, owners of Lagos Mariott Hotel, Ikeja. And this is C-Suite Cafe.